Hey guys, this is video 1 of throwing on the potter's wheel, first step, centering. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a series of steps with different videos, and this first one is going to be centering. The centering is very essential because if you can get the centering down, then whenever you throw the form and shape the form, it's a bit easier. So just really making sure that you get the first step done first, first step accomplished, and then from there it will be a little easier. So learning multiple techniques is one way. I'm going to show you one way, or one technique in particular, on how I learned, and then we're going to go from there. All right. What's really important is when doing these steps, coning the clay up and pushing it down, is doing it multiple times to try to get homogeneous with the material, or become homogeneous with the clay. So I'm going to go in and pan it down and get started. I took about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of clay out of the bag. All right. The first thing that you want to do is make sure your wheel is off whenever you get to it, so you're not throwing any clay when you don't want it to be thrown. So the first thing is, it's multiple different pieces of reconstituted clay. So just wedging on the wheel head is a great way to wedge your clay while sitting, and if you don't have a wedging table at home. And I'm doing the spiral technique, right? And that's just simply bringing the clay up to its point and spiraling the compression in motion on the side, rotating the clay while you keep bringing it up to the point. This does two things. One is it gets all the air out of the clay, and then also it softens the clay that's been sitting for a while, which is nice. And then if you have multiple pieces of clay that you're wedging together, this allows for all of the nuances on where the clay has overlapped one another to even out and become more homogeneous and get rid of the air that might be trapped in between. I'm doing this video, by the way, on my balcony on my apartment. This is the first time ever doing a video here, so it'll be interesting to see how this works. Okay, it's probably good. At the side, what I do is roll the bottom, creates a little point on the bottom. Alright, and that point, whenever you go and compress it onto the wheel, it flattens out and it evens out the bottom and allows for better suction. Okay, now I'm going to turn the wheel on, add a little bit of water in the middle of the wheel head, just a little bit, not too much. Then right down into place like that, right in the middle. Make sure the wheel's going counterclockwise. First thing I do is bring my right hand in, left hand over the right, compress down. Okay. That just locks the clay down onto the wheel head. A little bit of water, right hand, left hand, compressing down and in. And that brings rise to the cone. Okay. A little more water. Left hand, right hand. And I'm going to pivot my left hand up. I'm going to push down into the cup of my right hand, right, or the palm of my right hand. Okay. And with this technique, I want you to repeat the up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Because the more that you start to get it, you're not going to get it right away. You're not going to get it centered right away whenever you compress it down, bring it up, and then compress it down again. You've got to do it multiple times. You will start to build up slip, right, from the exterior of the clay. So it will diminish in size. It will get smaller and smaller. But with this first piece, these first tests, I don't want you to be too attached. They're not sacred pieces, all right? Just think of them as practice pieces. Be very much like doing practice homework in the classroom and then your teacher tells you to go home and do the actual homework. So the actual homework is when you get to the point where you can get it centered by pushing up and pulling down, wheel wedging up and down about 3 or 4 times, and then you start opening the form. So these first pieces are kind of like practice homework in the classroom. All right, don't get too attached to them. Okay, again, right hand, left hand over the right, pushing down and in with the palms of your hands. It gives rise to the cone. Come back. Do the same, right hand, left hand, pushing down and then going up. All right. A little more water. Right hand comes in. It's locked as a guard, right? It's not really moving. It will be pushed in a little bit whenever I'm taking the top of the clay and I'm pushing down at a diagonal into the palm of my right hand. But it's not really moving. It's not pushing in too much. It's just stabilized. Then I pivot my left hand up and then I push it down into the palm of my right hand. Okay? And then the trick is you should be able to put your hands on the clay and your hands not move very much. Right? That's an indicator that you've got it pretty well centered. I'm going to do it again. A little more water. Right hand, left hand, pushing down and in, giving rise to a cone. Okay. Letting my hands off slowly. A little more water. Right hand comes in as a guard. Left hand comes down, pivots. I compress in a little bit with my right hand as it's going down. Again, I should be able to put my hands around the clay and they not move very much. Press a little bit more, even it out, the top and the bottom. Okay. My hands there, they're not moving really. So now I'm at the point where I can start opening this ball of clay, right? So that's the first step. I'm going to go on and stop the video there. I want you to practice. Oh, sorry for the delay. I want you to practice bringing it up and bringing it down, bringing it up and bringing it down, right? I want you to do that multiple times. I don't want you to get to that point where you're going to open the clay and start throwing the form. We're going to wait for that. First step first. All right, guys? Take good care.